Mr Chair.
Joe Butchie.
What?
The Honourable Nanaima Hira.
Mr Chair, the important parts of the preamble, obviously, and that member might sigh, but it is important. But the important parts of this bill set out in the preamble are in fact clauses 3 and 4, and what it sets out in clause 4 more particularly is that there will be provision in the overall settlement for Ngāti Apa to be able to purchase the Kaitoke prison, and that's really the key element of the on-account settlement, because it signals a clear intention. Now, my colleague Calvin Davis said, it's all well and good talking about, trying to get to this point, but it's indeed very difficult. And I expect that the discussions that were had amongst the Whanganui Iwi collective in terms of identifying the components of the settlement that were important to them, getting the balance of interest right, getting the overall quantum set, took actually quite a bit of internal negotiation, but they got there. But I really wanted to point to clause 4, because in clause 4 specifically it outlines a provision in the overall setting of the quantum of the settlement, and Minister, I might have got this wrong, so you might want to correct me, but my reading of it is that in the overall setting of the quantum, provision will be made for Ngāti Apa to be able to purchase Kaitoke prison, and the sum of that will be considered in the final redress measure. That's certainly my reading of that clause. If I'm wrong, I'd like to be corrected, so I'm not misinterpreting your intent, Minister. But I think in terms of approaching opportunities for settlements where there are specific interests of hapu groupings within a wider iwi collective, that this type of approach gives a level of certainty and assurance to hapu groupings that their particular components of iwi settlements have been provided for and are considered very specific in terms of the overall setting of the redress quantum. So I won't take too much further on the preamble. Clauses 3 and 4 are the most important. Thank you to the Chair of the Mighty Affairs Select Committee who wants to rush this through. I understand your eagerness. But what it sets out, and I'm actually recommending that this is a great standard, is what it sets out for settlements where there are internal differences around what people place as their priority in terms of redress, that there is a framework here to be able to deal and address those types of matters. So for Ngāti Apa, when the time comes for them to be able to put a very real consideration of purchasing back Kaitoke, the redress component has already been factored into the settlement. They will be able to do that, and then they could ask themselves further questions about the long-term management potentially of Kaitoke prison, and what further role do they want to have over and above that role as landlord. So I want to reiterate again the comments made by one of the former corrections ministers. It was helpful to hear his insight into this, and simply to say that I am very sure that the people of Whanganui, while they might be an owner of a prison, they will certainly hold very strong views of not wanting their people to go to prison. So it might afford a future opportunity that we could only hope that we'll see less Māori going into Kaitoke prison. Kia ora.
Members, the question is that the preamble stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. We now move to